Breaking news from Southeast Asia: Thailand has abruptly cut off crucial fuel and strategic supplies to neighboring Cambodia, sending shockwaves through the region and raising fears of a broader conflict. This dramatic move escalates a long-simmering border dispute, transforming it from a local standoff into a full-blown regional crisis that could destabilize Southeast Asia. The Thai government claims the blockade is a direct response to what it calls Cambodian aggression, aiming to cripple Cambodia's military capabilities by halting the flow of fuel and other essential goods that keep its forces operational. Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin announced a sweeping total ban on the transit of fuel through both Thailand and Laos, a decision that has sent ripples of concern through diplomatic circles and left regional leaders scrambling for solutions. The sudden closure of these vital supply lines threatens not only Cambodia's economy and military readiness, but also puts Laos in a precarious diplomatic position, caught between two powerful neighbors. This bold move comes in the wake of violent clashes near the historic Preah Vihear temple, a flashpoint for both nations, with each side blaming the other for the recent surge in violence and border skirmishes. As Cambodian officials scramble to respond, holding emergency meetings and appealing for international support, the world's attention is now fixed on the region, watching anxiously to see if diplomacy can prevent the crisis from spiraling into a wider war. With border communities living in fear and millions of lives potentially at risk, the region stands on edge, uncertain of what the next days will bring and hoping for a peaceful resolution to this dangerous standoff. Thailand's strategy began with the abrupt closure of key border checkpoints, including the vital Chongmeck Smak crossing. Fuel tankers and cargo trucks have vanished, replaced by barricades and armed soldiers, stranding drivers and devastating local economies overnight. Thailand also blocked fuel shipments transiting through Laos, targeting a backdoor route Cambodia allegedly used to bolster its reserves. Thai officials claim evidence of large-scale fuel diversion, pressuring Laos to tighten its border controls. The blockade has paralyzed cross-border trade, leaving businesses and communities in economic freefall. For ordinary people, the impact is immediate lost jobs, shuttered markets, and growing uncertainty. Thailand frames this as a national security measure, but the humanitarian cost is mounting. The once bustling border zones are now silent, caught in the crossfire of a geopolitical standoff. In a dramatic escalation, Thailand has now extended its blockade from the land to the sea, deploying the formidable Royal Thai Navy to enforce its will in the Gulf of Thailand. The sight of Thai naval vessels patrolling the open waters sends a clear message: the blockade is tightening. Navy boarding parties are now actively intercepting and inspecting ships suspected of carrying fuel or other vital supplies to Cambodia, determined to cut off any potential lifelines. These patrols closely monitor the busy sea lanes leading to Cambodian ports. Every vessel, whether commercial or private, is now subject to rigorous inspection or outright denial of entry, creating a climate of uncertainty and tension on the water. This expanding naval cordon is designed to fully isolate Cambodia, shifting the conflict from the land borders to the high seas and raising the stakes by involving international waters. Legal experts point out that while Thailand can enforce such measures within its own territorial waters, any attempt to extend the blockade beyond these boundaries risks provoking international condemnation and possible diplomatic fallout. The Cambodian government has strongly condemned the blockade, labeling it illegal under international law and warning that any naval confrontations could have dire and unpredictable consequences for the region. The Gulf of Thailand, once a bustling hub of maritime commerce and trade, now stands transformed into a potential flashpoint, with empty shipping lanes and anchored cargo ships reflecting the growing crisis. Shipping companies and regional traders now face unprecedented risks, as the standoff threatens to disrupt vital supply chains and undermine economic stability throughout Southeast Asia. With the blockade's reach now total, by both land and sea, Cambodia finds itself increasingly isolated, squeezed from all sides as the crisis deepens and the world watches closely. Thailand moved quickly to manage fallout with Laos, sending its foreign minister to Vientiane to explain the transit ban and offer reassurances. Thai officials stressed the blockade targets Cambodia, not Laos, and promised to expedite legitimate Laotian trade. Laos, dependent on its neighbors for trade, responded cautiously, acknowledging Thai concerns but warning of economic pain. Privately, Laotian officials are scrambling to assess the impact and avoid being drawn into the dispute. Meanwhile, Thailand's message to Cambodia is uncompromising. The blockade will remain until border hostilities cease and negotiations begin. Diplomatic channels between Bangkok and Phnom Penh are frozen, with both sides hardening their positions. Thailand is leveraging its economic power to force Cambodia to the table, but the risk of escalation grows. The region's fragile diplomacy is being tested as never before. The crisis has triggered urgent calls for restraint from regional leaders, who are increasingly concerned about the potential for escalation and the impact on regional stability. Malaysia's Prime Minister has stepped forward, urging both sides to de-escalate tensions and return to the negotiating table, emphasizing that dialogue is the only path to a lasting solution. The unity of ASEAN, a cornerstone of peace and cooperation in Southeast Asia, is now at stake as the crisis deepens. The ongoing conflict threatens to undermine the bloc's credibility and long-term stability, raising fears of a wider regional fallout. Thailand, meanwhile, defends its recent actions as necessary measures of self-defense, insisting it has the right and responsibility to secure its borders and protect its citizens from perceived threats. The United States has also weighed in on the situation, calling for an immediate ceasefire, respect for international law, and especially the protection of freedom of navigation in these vital waters. ASEAN's traditional policy of non-interference makes direct mediation challenging, but the unprecedented scale and urgency of this crisis may force the bloc to reconsider its approach and take a more active role in conflict resolution. Behind the scenes, countries like Indonesia and Singapore are quietly working to open channels of dialogue, hoping to mediate and ease tensions before they spiral out of control. The world is watching closely as international media spotlight the border region and global leaders urge restraint. The pressure on both Thailand and Cambodia to find a peaceful solution is mounting, with diplomatic efforts intensifying and expectations rising. The decisions made in the coming days will be critical, determining whether the region can move toward peace and stability, or if it will plunge deeper into crisis, with consequences that could reverberate far beyond Southeast Asia. The blockade's impact is immediate and severe for ordinary people. In Cambodia, fuel shortages are driving up prices, threatening livelihoods from farmers to taxi drivers. Thai border towns, once thriving on trade, now face economic collapse and mass unemployment. Laos, though not the target, is suffering delays and shortages as border chaos spreads. The interconnected economies of the region mean that millions are affected by a dispute they cannot control. As fuel grows scarce, food and electricity costs soar, hitting the most vulnerable hardest. Hospitals, schools, and small businesses in Cambodia are already feeling the strain. What began as a strategic move against the Cambodian military is now a humanitarian crisis for the entire region. The region now faces a stark choice: de-escalate or risk catastrophic conflict. Retaliation by Cambodia could spiral into full-scale war, devastating both nations and destabilizing Southeast Asia. The alternative is a ceasefire, monitored by ASEAN or the UN, to create space for dialogue. ASEAN must step up as mediator, with member states like Indonesia and Malaysia brokering talks. International support is crucial to encourage peace, not escalation. The root causes, disputed borders and historical grievances, must be addressed through legal and diplomatic channels. The blockade is a symptom of deeper issues. Only cooperation can secure the region's future. The leaders of Thailand and Cambodia now hold the fate of millions, and regional stability, in their hands.